Relationships often feel like cycles. We fall in love, we get hooked, and then we repeat the same mistakes. Sabrina Carpenter's new album, Man's Best Friend, is basically a pop psychology case study of those cycles. My name's Heather. I'm a registered professional counselor and I specialize in relationships and breakup recovery. Today, we're going to look at each song on the album and think about the different patterns and relationship cycle that Sabrina talks about, and also what we can do differently in our own dating life. So think of this as a part analysis video, part relationship coaching session. Alright, so first off, Man-Child is about those guys who are fun, sexy, but totally immature. You know the type. They're charming, charismatic, funny, but they're emotionally absent or just downright lazy. Sabrina's calling out the paradox. Why do smart, successful women, yes, even pop stars, keep getting hooked by these types of guys? Here's the thing. Women have evolved. They prioritize growth, independence, fulfillment outside of relationships. Meanwhile, men haven't caught up yet. There's a real mismatch between what women want and what men have to offer. And this is also contributing to what is now known as the relationship recession. When you're dating a man-child, there's the urge to fix him, and that's because we see that there's potential, but that always backfires. You end up doing all the emotional labor, and eventually resentment builds. The better move? Stop rescuing. Stop making excuses for them. Ask yourself, if this person wasn't attractive, would I still put up with this behavior? Take a step back and see what happens. Either he's going to rise to the occasion or the relationship is going to dissolve. Either way, you're going to get clarity. Not only that, but you also want to focus on whether or not this person is someone you're compatible with, not just someone you're attracted to. Did anyone else learn the line dance to the song? Is it because I did. Alright, so the second song on the album is called Tears, and Sabrina is basically mocking the fact that basic acts of care feel like a miracle, especially after a string of bad relationships. You've probably been there before, where the guy texts you back in a timely manner, or he does the dishes, he opens the door for you, or he even builds that IKEA furniture. And it feels like, wow, this guy is amazing. But it's not about wanting a handyman. It's about wanting respect and partnership. When I listen to the song, it reminds me of a quote I read. A great guy is basically an average woman. So if you're swooning over a guy who texts you back or does the dishes, it's a bit of a red flag. It means that you've normalized neglect, meaning that if we get bare minimum treatment now, we are completely impressed because our standards were so low from previous guys. You need to raise your bar. You need to raise your standards. Consistent availability, mutual respect, being communicative isn't exceptional, it should be the expectation. My Man on Willpower is about a guy who's so obsessed with self-improvement, his routines, his diet, his workouts, that he forgets and neglects to connect with their partner. And I'm all for self-improvement, but there's a balance. And here's where the problem lies. When your life becomes all about optimizing and being efficient, it's easy to lose that sense of intimacy with your partner. This can be seen as an avoidant attachment strategy, investing in tasks, work, or gym, while emotionally withdrawing. There could be several reasons why a person will do this. One is that they're usually avoidantly attached, meaning that they don't know how to navigate a relationship past a certain point, or they withdraw when things get too serious because they don't know how to be in a close, intimate relationship. The other possibility is that they lack the emotional maturity to have these difficult conversations to end the relationship, and instead they just lead the other person on, or they try to avoid the subject altogether. Research on avoidant attachment shows that these individuals tend to regulate distress by deactivating closeness. They look independent, but they often fear intimacy, which is why they're more likely to throw themselves at work, their hobbies, gym, seeing friends, instead of building a relationship. They typically often have superficial relationships as well, whether it be with their friends or coworkers, or even romantic relationships. It's very surface level. People who end up with someone who is avoidantly attached can often feel the tug and pull of the relationship, which can keep them stuck in the cycle and often experiencing high highs and low lows. So what can you do? Be aware of these types of people and the people that you're attracted to. Look to see if there's relational growth not just their own personal growth. The next song is called Sugar Talking, which is about a guy who talks a big game, says all the right things, but doesn't back it up with action. So why is it common for words and actions to not match? Because a lot of people have learned that they can get what they want with just words. Sex, validation, attention. But the truth is, words without action is worthless. Sometimes the sex or chemistry is so good, we ignore the mismatch. We'll tell ourselves, oh, it's fine, I'll take the passion and forget the rest. But attraction without respect or consistency is a trap. It always ends in the same place, resentment. What we need to do is get really good at noticing when there's a misalignment between words and action, because they both matter. We need to stop getting hypnotized by chemistry alone. Focus on observable behavior and facts. Chemistry might get your attention, but consistency is what deserves your commitment. Anyone can be on their best behavior within the first 3 to 6 months. It's after the 6-month mark where we start to see their true character. We almost broke up again last night, which is about a toxic on-again, off-again relationship. You fight, you break up, and then you have makeup sex so good that everything seems like it's right, and you guys are back on track. Sound familiar? This is just biology at play. The rush of dopamine and oxytocin when you make up is the same thing that happens when we're in the honeymoon phase. And here's why it happens. When you lose someone, your body floods with stress hormones. When you make up, you get the same chemicals you get during the honeymoon phase, which makes it so addictive and makes this cycle so toxic and hard to get out of. Unless you address the pattern, nothing changes. You'll keep riding that emotional roller coaster. Research shows that on-again, off-again couples report more conflict, less satisfaction, and higher anxiety. The highs are great, but the lows are destabilizing. So what can you do instead? If the cycle repeats, recognize that the pattern is the relationship itself. It's not a rough patch, it's the structure. If you want peace, you need to step out of that loop and not wait for it to magically fix itself. A good question to ask yourself is, am I in love with this person or addicted to the drama? And if it's the latter, the only way off this ride is to stop getting back in line. Alright, let's dive into the next song, which is Nobody's Son. Sabrina really hits on a crucial issue in the dating culture. We might be in a situation or a relationship where we're putting in all that emotional effort. We're trying to fix someone. We're trying to get them to mature. We're waiting for them to mature. And we are being their emotional anchor. Why does this keep happening? Sabrina's song gives us a clue. It's not just the guys in question, but it's the pattern that we've allowed to develop in our dating lives. Don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming the parents 100% because it's a little bit of a cop-out. The first relationships that we see growing up is our parents or caregivers, and we normalize whatever those relationship dynamics are. But we do need to recognize a deeper truth. If the guy has been coddled his whole life, if he's always been given a free pass to not grow emotionally, he will bring that energy to the relationship. And you, my friend, will have to pick up the slack. And here's another truth. It's not your fault that they're not ready for a relationship. The real question is, why do I keep choosing men I have to raise emotionally? It could be that when we're dating, we end up with a scarcity mindset, meaning that we have this fear that we're not going to find anyone else who we are attracted to, who like us back, and we get stuck in these unfulfilling relationships. And we also might feel that enormous pressure to have to settle down, get married, have kids, because we feel that everyone around us is already on that path and we feel left behind. So what's the takeaway? Stop dating projects. Stop buying into potential when the reality is right in front of you. You deserve someone who's already grown, who can meet you at your level emotionally and is ready for a commitment. That means starting to date people and viewing them as partners, not people that you can fix. And let me be clear, love doesn't require perfect people, but it absolutely requires grown people. The next track, Never Getting Laid, is all about the passive-aggressive breakup, which Sabrina absolutely nails. It's a perfect blend of calm, sarcastic power and wishing her ex a lifetime of sexual solitude. It's not about slashing their tires or bashing them on social media. It's a kill them with kindness strategy. When we're going through a breakup, it's easy to want revenge or to get angry at the other person. The real takeaway here is that your calm is your power. You don't need to explode or make a scene about how hurt you are. Now, this doesn't mean that you should ignore your feelings, especially if you're experiencing anger, which is a normal part of dealing with a breakup. But what it does mean is figuring out how to process it in a way that's productive for you. And sometimes with anger, we feel that the only way to deal with it is to swallow our anger or to throw it in someone's face. But what Sabrina is saying is that we can let go. So what's a better way of handling anger during a breakup? Next time you're tempted to text your ex, just channel Sabrina's energy. Be unbothered. You don't need to scream or yell or send them long text messages. Instead, show them that you're fine without them. No drama, just a quiet exit. The next song, When Did You Get So Hot?, taps into one of the most relatable and frustrating experiences post-breakup. Seeing your ex transform into someone incredibly attractive after they're no longer yours. This is a test your emotional resilience moment because it challenges your ability to stay grounded in your decision to move on even when the past suddenly becomes tempting again. And this might sting a lot, especially if they were the ones that broke up with us. In order to cope with the breakup, it's common for us to associate our ex with more of their negative traits, such as being immature or lazy or emotionally unavailable. When we bump into them later or see a photo or a post and it looks like they've completely transformed, it could be a shock to the system. You need to remember that you're not reacting to who they are now. You're reacting to who you wish they had been when you were together. And it gets easy to start romanticizing the past, even if you know deep down that that person wasn't right for you. What can you do instead? First things first is don't romanticize the past. It's easy to forget everything that didn't work in the relationship and only focus on the happy memories. Their growth or their progress isn't proof of your inadequacy. It's proof that you can also grow. Use it as motivation for your own development rather than self-criticize or getting stuck in the ruminating thoughts of wanting to get back together with your ex. Go juice. Let's break this down. This specific cocktail of heartbreak and loneliness tells us everything we need to know about how we process rejection and how we often mishandle our healing. Drunk dialing our ex is never about them, it's about you. Here's the truth. When you pick up the phone and try to call your ex at 2 a.m. after having 3 to 5 tequila shots, you might miss how you felt when they were around, but not necessarily who they are. Let me say that again, but a little different. You don't miss them. You miss who you were when you felt loved. And there's a difference between nostalgia and need. Alcohol just blurs that line. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Pause. Ask yourself, am I trying to connect or am I trying to escape? Because the bravest thing that you can do after a breakup isn't sending the text. It's choosing to be with that discomfort. It means choosing to build a life that doesn't need numbing. Sabrina Carpenter's Don't Worry, I'll Make You Worry isn't just a song about playing emotional games. It's a glimpse into someone who's been hurt before and is scared of getting hurt again. Right from the start, Sabrina admits it. She is messing with his head, but it's not for fun. It's her way of keeping control. She's been heartbroken before, and now she's afraid of being vulnerable again. Every time she opens up, the fear of getting hurt comes rushing back. So instead of being real, she plays games in order to protect herself. It's a defense mechanism, playing hard to get, pulling away, making him worry, and it's no wonder she has this defense mechanism considering everything that the guy put her through. This fear-based behavior doesn't lead to real intimacy. It creates anxiety and confusion and can push the other person away. If you've been hurt before, I get it. Vulnerability feels dangerous. But the way to break through this cycle isn't through more games. It's through open and honest communication. And that means being able to communicate what your needs are. It's scary, I know. But it's the only way that we can build trust and connection. Without it, you'll keep creating emotional walls and pushing people away, which is the opposite of what we're looking for. Let yourself open up and allow yourself to trust people who've earned it in order to create something real and lasting. Sabrina's house tour might sound like a casual invitation after a date. But there's so much more happening under the surface, and it's not just about showing someone your living room or the sexual implications that the song has. This is the rebound moment. Maybe you're flirting, you're back on the dating apps, you're going out, you're meeting new people, but on the inside you're questioning, is this connection or is it a distraction? Casual sex after a breakup can feel empowering. It's a way to reclaim your body and to feel wanted again. Here's the catch. It can also feel empty, like you're giving your body away because it's easier than giving your heart away again. It can also be a helpful way for us to move on because we're reminded that there's so many other people out there that we can connect with and who also find us attractive. If you find yourself in this stage during your breakup recovery process, ask yourself, do I want real closeness or do I want to just feel something tonight? The last song on the album, Goodbye, is actually one of my favorites. And the song says it all. Once I'm done, I'm done. And honestly, that is a lesson that we can all use in our love lives. In the song, the guy who broke up with Sabrina comes crawling back and wants to rekindle things. I get it. It's easy to think, maybe this time they'll change, or maybe we can fix it. If someone has made that decision to walk away from you and the relationship, or worse, treated you poorly, ignored your feelings, or disrespected you, it's not a relationship worth going back to. The biggest mistake that most people make is thinking that the breakup was a momentary blip. And what happens is that people get back together believing that things will be different this time. Here's the hard truth. If someone has shown you who they are through their actions, not their words, believe them. Don't fall into the trap of believing that they'll suddenly change just because you're back in their life. Now, it's not to say that people who break up should never get back together. What I am saying is that you need to ask yourself, what's different this time? And what changes did they already make in order to make this relationship work? Remember, if someone truly cares about you, they don't walk away, and they certainly don't treat you with disrespect. If you've been dumped and was treated poorly in the relationship, you don't have to get back together with them just because they come around asking you to give them a second chance. You don't need to open that door to someone who wasn't willing to give you the love and respect you deserve the first time around. Remember this, you are better off moving forward because you deserve someone who values you from the start. You owe it to yourself to walk away with your head held high. Goodbye means that you're losing me for life. Let me know what your favorite song is of the album and if any of these takeaways resonated with you. Make sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more analysis videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.